Guys, what's up? It's Max and Monty 15 and 16 Productions here. Back again to welcome Stanley. Anyway, I don't have the original model of Stanley because sadly it was damaged in a flood that I had about 5 years ago. It was devastating to see like a part of Stanley like just floating, and I cried. I was only 5 years old at the time. I was only 5 years old at the time when the flood happened, and I was devastated that Stanley was destroyed. But then in 2017, Stanley was completely reintroduced, and now he's awesome because it's a lot more, how do you say, proportionate to the TV series model. I love what Mattel have done with Stanley here. So first, let's get into Stanley's character. Stanley was first introduced in The Great Discovery, the 2009 Thomas special. Sorry for any background noise. My parents are like watching a football game right now. So yeah. Anyway, Stanley has very small details that I really like, but I'll get to that later. So Stanley was kind of a replacement for Thomas, because he was supposed to take Stanley was supposed to take Thomas's coaches, pretty much. And like he was to work on Thomas's branch line, and he stole Thomas's job of being in charge of the construction of Great Waterton, and so Thomas freaking hated his guts until Stanley rescued him. And then Stanley broke down and then Thomas rescued him. And then yay, it's a happy ending, yay. Stanley had some pretty big roles in season 12. After that, he was reduced to a cameo character, where he didn't speak again until season 20's Howdy James. So yeah, Stanley still has a clean slate with almost no character to him whatsoever. So anyway, let's get on to the model. I love the fine details that Mattel have done, like the handrails and even these little things. I forgot what they were called, but it doesn't matter. This Stanley, I don't know if I mentioned that before, but this Stanley is very proportionate. I never liked the original model of Stanley because I thought it was way too thin, and it just didn't really look like Stanley. Stanley is kind of a fatter tank engine, because it's definitely a different class than Thomas's. So yeah. So I don't have the original Stanley model to compare it to. Anyway, the face is utterly magnificent. If it's one thing Mattel does right, it's their faces. I mean, seriously. I mean, if you don't believe me, there's Ryan. I mean, his face is awesome. Even though I don't like Stafford, his face is still awesome. I mean, Hugo's face is okay. But we're not going to talk about those guys. Ryan and Hugo will get their reviews later. I don't even know if I'm going to review Stafford or not. So anyway, I'm getting really off the rails. No pun intended. Maybe. So, anyway. Overall, I think Stanley is an amazing model, and if you can find either of his models, I know I've been stirring a lot today, the reviews that I've made, so deal with it. Anyway, if you can find either of Stanley's models on eBay for a good price, I highly recommend getting him. I wouldn't call him necessary, but boy, is he an awesome character. I mean, I can say that because he's definitely in my top 10 favorite characters. He was the best military character of all time. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and goodbye for now.